What's
I think
your
so.
favorite podcast?
I think I watched the first one with like
Oh, so Nuborrow's is.
So you watched
One.
the one.
the one with Tiana. That was good.
You don't even work here. Guys, take the bark collar, put it on his neck, and give me the controller. Is that a no? That would be the best podcast
It's
we've
like
ever done.
energy generosity. We'll just pump you with electricity.
Today's guest is, we're starting already, Miguel. Are you ready?
So is this like live
It's
now?
live, yeah.
Okay.
Is Miguel. Miguel's had an interesting journey inside the building first, because you started off as an agent. You're now doing something a little different in working with the renewal department and still being an agent. So you're juggling two departments at once, which is a lot for anybody. And you're doing a lot of renewal deals. So, but let's first talk about what were you doing, or what have you done for people who are out there who want to be an agent? What was your path? What did you go to school? What have you been doing before you landed here?
So I guess the rundown would be that I never really knew what I wanted to do. So in school, I took actually in high school, didn't know what I want to do. Okay, finance, money, I want to do something with that. So I took economics in Brock. And then from there, I figured, simple answer, I'll work at a bank. I'll do something with money.
Sure.
Banks have money.
Sometimes.
Apparently they have money. And then, so I did all the schooling, went to university for economics, and then I applied to the bank, got there, and I was like, the first day I'm like, what have I done? I just knew it wasn't for me. So just sitting there while, of course, going through everything, knowing I could like progress and do other things. Is this really what I want to do? And every day the answer was no. I dreaded it.
Really?
Yeah, I dreaded it.
And how long were you at the bank again, Miguel?
Exactly 1 year. And it was during the COVID time. So it was it wasn't as, I guess, traditional as normal. But every time, they set me up so I was a teller, and then I would work to a banking advisor, and then you progress from there.
Okay.
And at the end of every shift, I would always go to the banking advisor, see what they do, see what they say. And even I would be honest with them, be like, this isn't for me. And they'd all say go, if they would encourage me to try something else. So
That's generally not a good sign when you're working. Somebody
how about
you
try
should go do
this?"
something else.
yeah, so I don't know. I was looking, and one of the managers there actually knows, or someone works here from them, and talked to me about different, because he knew I was struggling or didn't like it. So he knew, or he sat me down and said, there's many different pathways you can go. You can go to here, here, here. I think you might fit this role really, really well. So he told me about Nuborrow and all that, and I really liked it. I looked into yourself, the company, and I thought
And you still came here?
I was like, this is lines up to what I would like to do, or at least give it a go. So mortgage agent was never a thing I sought after. It's just something that kind of fell in front of me. I thought, let's look into it, and I really like it. Yeah.
All right. Let's, before we get into more Nuborrow stuff, there's something that I know you're super passionate about, that even though you didn't win the first annual Nuborrow go-kart race, you're like a massive go-kart guy, right? You have a big history in that?
Yeah, I love just motorsports in general. And growing up, I'd always watch with my dad, Formula One, and I would love that type of stuff. And just going into a quick story. So when I was 16, we went to the auto show, and we found out go-karting happened around us. I never looked into it, but normally if you want to proceed or excel in go-karting, you start at a very young age. So I saw the go-karting, it was a place, Goodwood, they have an arrive and drive program. So my dad's like, okay, if you do well on these next couple tests, we'll sign you up for it. So I actually studied for once, and then I got the grades. And then from there, I've just been hooked ever since. It's just once you get in it, I've played football, I played basketball, had the team, but there's something so different about just being in the kart, and I don't know.
So did you, have you in your history traveled and gone to races, or what?
No, because it is a very expensive sport.
Yeah,
So we
I'd
stay
imagine.
very, very local, but used to go every weekend, 2016, 2017. We would love it.
I had a buddy who got into racing Sea-Doos, which you didn't think really exists.
Yeah.
But I was amazed at all the travel time, the machines. He had to have two machines. The cost just went through the roof very, very quickly. So similar to go-kart, you got to have more than one go-kart, or you can just have one, or you got to have your own.
So You can rent them, but to have your own, you get the most fun out of it, but it's so expensive. Like even now I haven't done it for a long time just because it's so expensive and other things come up. But one day I hope to get back out there, obviously. Yeah.
Very good. Very
and
good.
you know, I think something that's notable in your story is starting later in life. Like a lot of people would have been discouraged being like, well, I didn't start soon enough. So I wouldn't be good at it, or it might take time. But for me, like you start driving at 16. So the first vehicle that I was ever in was in a car.
Yeah.
So to think that racing is like complete opposite, like you start way younger than you would be able to drive on a regular road is insane. Because till I was 20, was terrified to go over 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, like if you start and want to go pro, they start at like 3 years old or younger.
Like, and
So
that's
crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Here's what's crazy. This is so weird that we're having this conversation because the other day I'm in the passenger seat. My wife drives a massive vehicle for all our kids, and every opportunity is to back in somewhere. And I finally said to her, I'm like, what are you doing? I've been go-karting since I was a little kid. So like,
Backing and parking is easier.
right? I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess that's why you are the way. Like, why do you need to back in at the tightest spaces?
Yeah.
Why are you, and I said, I'm comfortable with you driving. And she goes, well, it's probably has a lot to do with when I was a kid, I went go-karting a lot and I got very comfortable. So when I came for my license and came driving, it was no big deal. I never
Yeah.
really, I think I went go-karting once as a kid and I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have to go multiple times to like get a feel for it. And even then, like kind of similar story, like I started go-karting before I drove. So going into a car, like the go-kart, you do like this and it's like max lock. I did this in a vehicle and I'm still going straight. So like what is happening?
Yeah, right.
It's true. So it's like even just being able to adapt. Like I could only imagine like going from a go-kart track and then driving yourself home.
Yeah.
How different that would feel.
Yeah, it's-
Like even just like accelerating, speed limits. It's a completely different world. Like I went go-karting with our team. We all know this is
Yeah.
probably like the most traumatizing experience ever, but he did it. But like it is a weird
Ask Mark.
weird feeling. Like I could not wait for the race to be done.
Mark got a bad leg out of it. But I don't know who had a bigger target on our backs that day, you or me. Everyone wanted to ram us
Yeah.
and try and wipe us out. So
Yeah.
that's
Florida hit you pretty good. That was good.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah. She almost broke my neck. Okay, so the bank calls you into the office and be like, hey, this is not working out for you, and makes a suggestion to follow this path, drops Nuborrow's name, you apply. What was that process like for you? That was amazing.
Yeah, like going through the interview or like how I got
I'm just
to
curious because when you do, I'm often like, when you do the interview, it's a different process. We talk about it through this podcast a lot, but then you come here day one and it's still completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess just because I heard so many good things, like I just really wanted to nail the interview. I thought so. I made sure everything was clean, tidy, good background, got all those questions ready or what to ask, things like that.
And I didn't ask any of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Curveball.
And then just I guess coming in here the first time, I don't know what I was supposed to expect, but I did not expect like lines of like how it's set up. But I'm glad I got through it. I got like meeting the team. I'm like, okay, I know I want to be here. Especially the interview with you. Just I feel like someone, especially like or want to get into like business, do my own thing. Just hearing what you say and the stuff you say on the website, and just even meeting you, like your drive and what to do. Like it's like now you're around people you want to be with, have the similar mindset. So I'm really happy. And like leaving the bank to come here, like I've never felt happy about doing that sort of move like ever. Like it felt good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share this with the world, right? We had this moment not that long ago before we moved you into kind of a hybrid role where, and I think sometimes people, even for us, thank you, and I do promote this a lot. If you join us, you're going to have instant success. The average mortgage agent out there struggles, doesn't do probably more than 4 deals a year.
Yeah.
The average person in here will do 5 deals a month. But you're one of those guys who has had a really slow curve to get to, and you were frustrated.
Yeah.
And you and I had a nice one-on-one, and I let you know that I'm not giving up on you, which I think is super important for, like that's what I would like to hear, right? And that we made some adjustments and gave you that hybrid role so you could do more deals. And
Yeah.
how do you think that's worked out for you?
I actually think it worked out a lot. I've never actually told you this, but I think doing that.
No, you haven't.
It's like, so tell me how you really
After
feel.
that talk, you just walked away. No.
So after getting into it and doing the hybrid position, like I still feel like I'm doing much better on everything. Everything has started to increase, but when I was struggling getting into the hybrid role, putting me into the position to just do more gave me more confidence in the front end to do even more. And I feel like me going into those rooms more often gave me more confidence when it actually came to those front end deals and just made everything a lot smoother. And over time, it has started to increase. Not as fast as I would like, obviously.
Yeah.
But as long as I can see the progress and as long as it keeps going, I'll be happy. And
I think that like plays into the greater picture of every mortgage agent's success is on volume. So the more you do, the more comfortable you get at doing your job. And even like having the privilege of sitting beside you, I've seen significant growth just by the confidence of picking up the phone. We make fun of you. Actually, I don't. I am the protester of not making fun
Yes,
of you.
you are.
But the common, I guess, joke around the office is you're quiet and you're whatever. But I hear you talking to your clients. And I think as you grow in your role, your relationships with your clients also grow. So the confidence behind what you're saying, you can speak to it, you're seeing more, especially on the renewal front. So when you're selling a mortgage plan on the front end, you can say, listen, like I've worked with a client very recently that did exactly what you did, and this is what the outcome was. So you kind of, similar to my experience, get to see it from both sides, which I think was a value, especially for me and my growth, is being able to work in client care, working in renewals, or working on both sides, because then you can actually have some weight behind what you're saying and say, yeah, actually, it's exactly what happens.
and you get more confident doing it. And
Absolutely.
And just kind of touching back to the point of like, why did you come here? Another thing I wanted to do while leaving the bank, I just thought of it now, is I knew I could do things with finance and numbers or something easy. I wanted to do something different, and essentially something that would give me or learn a new skill while being in a new position that I know I can grow in. And I heard sales was always like something you really good to have or to know. So I wanted something more than just, oh, this is a job you do 9 to 5, come and get out. Like I want to learn more skills and do whatever. Okay, I went to university, but I'm not done now. Like continue to like do something, you know?
Yeah.
Which is great time to bring up the page or the new chapter that I watched you do like right in front of us in one of our trainings when you guys had to do the comedy skit. And you nailed that. Like you did such a good job, and that's not easy to stand up in front of 30 other people that work here and do a comedy routine when you're not a comic, you're not right. And you were known for being a bit quiet and not liking to speak in front of groups. And that's one of the things that university's not going to teach you is we throw you, put an X on the floor, make you stand there, turn a light on, and you're all of a sudden performing in front of people. And you've really nailed that like you didn't shy away from it, which is what I'm really proud of you for.
Like one of those things again, like I appreciate those 2 o'clocks or when we meet and have those meetings, because I do get to push myself out of the shell, and I feel like I can do this. Like I don't know. It feels good.
And a lot of the times, like we've talked about it a few times on this podcast, the 2 o'clocks are probably more challenging than meeting with most of our clients. Because as much as it's our peers, it's awkward, it's challenging. And even our most successful agents sometimes flop, including me, at those 2 o'clock meetings. And you've nailed it every single time. Like I can't wait to like see what you've put together.
Right? Like we start to anticipate it now, because the last video you did where we did speak for 2 minutes minimum, something you're passionate about. Your video was, in my opinion, the best.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Right?
Agreed.
Presentation wise, pace, tonality, like you really, I can see that you take the slides and the things we're doing and you're trying to make them your own, and then you just nailed that one. I really hope the next one we're doing, I haven't watched it, bro. I don't watch anybody's, right, until we actually watch them together. I hope this one you're just as happy with, because the passionate go-kart thing was right on the money.
Thank you. Yeah, that was good.
So circling back to when we had that one-on-one, and I could see like you did not want to give up. You were caught in this crossroad. You were struggling. What if you had to tell somebody like, what is it about Nuborrow, or why do you stay, or why do you want to fight and do it outside of the personal growth? What is it about this, like, that you feel so strongly that you're going to like put yourself through the stress to grow?
I guess there's a lot of things, but one I guess, like I mentioned when we kind of had that talk, is I see the results. I know it can be done, so why can't I do it? I can. If these guys can do it, I can do it. And especially with all the support with Ali, yourself, like you guys give unlimited support. Like you guys help so much, and I feel like other places don't do that. And knowing like I know to give up, like what have I done? If I give up, I learn nothing and I start back at square one and I'm doing nothing. And if at least I can see people are doing well. And I know the person who was hired with me, like I feel like if he would have stayed, he would have also done really well. But it was really tough. It was really hard in the first couple months where you're not doing many deals, sometimes 0 deals or at least 1 deal. And with it going from like a salary position to then absolute commission, it's like, is it very stressful? Are you getting money?
Yeah.
And I guess the biggest thing was seeing everyone being very supportive, including yourself, and helping me with the one-on-ones. But seeing that it can be done and knowing I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes support is thrown around a lot in every industry, but in ours, I see other ads and I see, I talk to a lot of agents who are in those, oh, we're going to support you, we're going to do this. And, they get a series of videos to watch, which is not support.
Yeah.
It's just not enough to get somebody to really connect with. At the end of the day, you're speaking to a client who has a problem or needs help, and it's those skills you need to learn, not how the mortgage industry works or what the rates are. Regardless of when this airs, the rates are the rates. That's why we don't talk about them. It's just not something that's going to make you a better agent.
Yeah. And I think even adding on to your point is the word support for many different people means different things. So we interview people time and time again where they're like, I just didn't feel supported. So the question that we always ask is, okay, well, what was lacking? Right. And for us, we know that there's an abundance of information on what a mortgage is on the internet, but that's usually the support element in which brokerages or banks are providing, but that's not really what you need to become a successful mortgage agent. You need support on the front of, hey, I have a quick question. Can you walk me through this file? Or can you provide me a little bit of insight? Or can you give me a quick pep talk before I go into my meeting? And that's why Nuborrow is different. And that's why people like yourself joining the industry or having this, I guess, willingness to want to be successful in sales really thrives in an environment like this, because the support comes down to, hey, I just need to quickly do a mock phone call with you. This one's going to be challenging or whatnot. So when you come here, you can really appreciate what true support is as opposed to the support that everyone else is offering.
I agree. And I'd also say, of course, we kill it in the mortgage side, but even if we have other things, personal things, like everyone helps. Like it's more than just mortgages, So
that's a good line.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been here for a year.
Yep.
Right?
A year in July, right?
You made it.
Still breathing.
And we do a lot of things differently. We help a lot of clients. We solve problems. So in your history, in the 1 year, deals you've either helped on renewal side or on the front end side, you've got to have a client story or two that really kind of left an impression on you.
I'd say I definitely do. I'd say the biggest thing is, even though you could pinpoint, okay, it really helped this person out in a tough time, it's more of the fact that when you're speaking to some people, just knowing that, hey, these options exist and they have no idea. I feel like, okay, maybe it's not a specific story, but, oh, this can happen, this can work. Are you sure? Is this possible? Yes, we can do this. And let me show you how. And how I can save you money, help other people, again, with the stories of other clients that we help. But again, just showing them the products that we have available to actually help them save money. And you don't have to go to Fairstone, an easy financial. It's just essentially just seeing their
reactions.
Their reactions. They're thankful for it. And I didn't know this exists. Thank you so much.
I joke about this all the time. I'm not the president. I'm a member. So when I went through this process years and years ago, it was not transparent. It was not explained properly for all that other stuff. but I also didn't know that you could do these things. And here's the biggest misnomer about the whole industry on that side. A second mortgage or a home equity loan is bad. It's expensive. You're going to lose your house. You're going to, all these bad things that have happened that are very, very true. Mm-hmm. It is a bad idea. We say it on the website all the time. I tell you guys, if you're borrowing money without a plan, it's a bad plan. And the difference between us and the other options you have out there is many people will talk about, oh yeah, we have a plan for you. We will, but we 100% stand behind the plan. So when you're in the renewal side, you're dealing with, and I'm going to be totally transparent, you're dealing with clients that the plan wasn't executed.
Yeah. So essentially what
Didn't
happened,
not work. It just, sometimes life gets in the way in that 1 year plan that we've developed for somebody, and it doesn't work the way we laid it out.
Intended it to be.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just things come up. Some people can't help that, and I understand it, and then it puts it in a more difficult situation. But just for us to look even further on how we can create a plan now with what unforeseen circumstances to help you again. And sometimes the clients admit, like, hey, I didn't follow the plan, and we can understand that. Okay, but this time, like, we can help you only so much. You have to do the other half. But this will work, and we've seen it work, and I could show you how it will work, but you need to follow it.
Right? 30 plus now, probably more by the time this airs, 30,000 plus client records of people who have followed our step-by-step program, followed our advice, and actually, have seen success, whether that's, 80 to 100 points on their credit score, cash flow, no more credit cards. I see a lot of the times on our social media channels, people are like, oh yeah, but it's so expensive. And I often ask people to take a step back. And this is the bank mindset versus the what we can really do mindset, right?
Yeah.
It might be a percentage that you're not expecting or higher than what the bank may offer. But I got to ask you, why are you so okay with 19.9 or 22% on your credit cards, bank issued or department store or MBNA, one of those, right? Or worse, one of the other higher interest loan. Why are you okay
with that?
And they have no plan. Your credit card has absolutely zero plan of you paying it off or saving and getting a cash flow savings. So I say to you guys at the 2:00 all the time, show me another solution that can have no payments, not buying appliances, have no payments, and get rid of all your credit card debt and create cash flow. There isn't any other than learning how to action the equity in your house. And you see examples of that all the time.
And also just going back to the credit card part, a lot of times people come to us who went to other places and they just say, here you go, clear out all the debt, but then they don't explain what we need to do next to actually make sure we don't get this again. Like anyone can give you money, right? But
yeah. And sometimes it takes time to break old habits. So even in 1 year's time, we have clients who are super dedicated to obviously making the change and others that things get in the way. So we're trying to break sometimes 30-year habits where I can just go to Walmart and the guy standing outside the booth, I'll just get a credit card and then it'll all go away and whatnot. So we really have to take that initiative to educate. And like you said, a lot of our clients, it's surprising that they're like, wow, we have that as an option. Because they only thought they had one option, which was those high interest credit cards. They don't really know me. I'm just signing up on a piece of paper while I'm doing my groceries, and hopefully it'll give me a little bit of relief for that time.
Or they think, oh, I just need it really quickly, but the term you just signed is not really quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's so true. I'll wrap it up by saying that I really appreciate you and appreciate that you had the courage to come and say halfway or 3/4 of the way through the year being like, hey man, I'm struggling. Most people wouldn't do that. They would just, leave, or they wouldn't. We've been encouraging you and like working with you and it still wasn't working. You had the self-awareness, which we talk about all the time, being self-aware, to come and ask for more help with zero reservations. And that's something that's real growth, brother. Like to be able to ask for help in a difficult time. and then take the action plan and the help, and then really excel, and you're growing. And I really appreciate you. I know you're a big fan favorite around the office. You and your goldfish at lunchtime.
And his sugar cookies and all his cute snacks.
Sometimes, yes.
So I appreciate you. Again, our guest has been Miguel. I appreciate you stopping by this time.
Thank you. No,
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.